Good morning, everyone, and welcome to CANTO Conversations. This is the start of our 2021 season. We've had a break since last year. We've had 34 conversations last year, and we are glad to be back on track with our conversations. And my name is Jimmy Rodriguez. Today, I'm filling in as moderator for Secretary General, Ms. Teresa Wankin, who unfortunately isn't here, but she is actually in process of receiving an award, a Woman of Influence Award from our Association of Female Executives in Trinidad and Tobago. So congratulations to Mrs. Wankin. Today, our topic is going to be mobile towers and why are they important. And we have taken our time. We found some folks with many years of experience, decades of experience, I can say. We have two special speakers today. One is Mrs. Evelyn Torres. She's the CEO of Solaris Technologies. She's based in Texas, and she has many years experience in the tower. She has also received a lot of awards through her time. March seems to be the month of women today in ICT. So we're encouraged to have on display another woman who has made her way through the ICT industry. As well, we have Mr. Brad King, who's the Vice President of Business Development at Trip Wireless, Inc. And Brad will start us off today. So I'm going to hand over to you, Brad, to make your presentations. Thank you.
Well, thank you and good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Again, Brad King with Trip Wireless. Trip is a full service product and services company. We're based in Denver, Colorado. The company was founded in 2005 by Kim Cook, and she is our CEO today. And we do business pretty much all around the world. We sell product, we buy excess product, we refurb product, and we install a lot of products. So we do a lot of field services as well. But just about any type of product that would go into a network, whether it's a wireline and or a wireless network, we can pretty much provide, including data products. So today we're talking about an exciting piece of our business, and that's mobile towers. So mobile towers can be used in a variety of ways for special events, network densification, disaster recovery and emergency response initiatives, and as well as an alternative to site-built towers. So we're finding a lot of interesting applications for mobile towers that can become permanent towers, and that's a growing wave of interest for us today. So what I thought I'd do is introduce you a little bit to Trip, and then we'll move into the tower specifically. We have a very short video that will give you a very good overview of the mobile towers, especially those that are manufactured by our partners Solaris. They're based in Dallas, Texas. And with that, let me share my screen here, and we'll move ahead. So Trip Wireless, again, we're helping carriers build a better network with site services, technical support, logistics management, product solutions, and wireless networks. So it can be hard to find equipment. It can be brand new equipment. It doesn't really matter if it's wireline, wireless, data, anything basically that goes into a communications network, we can provide. And I'm going to move into Solaris here, and this is a little snapshot of what they look like when they're on the trailer, and also when they're erected here. And here's a short video that we had produced. I think I'll give you a nice little bit of an overview before we get further into this. So bear with me just a moment here.
Solaris Technologies Services is a leading mobile tower manufacturer based out of Texas, who is working with a new distribution partner, Trip Wireless, to offer quality USA-made towers that keep people connected. Solaris's structural engineering team has designed a robust lineup of mobile tower units, ranging from 60 feet to 150 feet, all backed by a 10-year warranty and 24/7 tower support. Our award-winning tower team has proven they are leaders in tower technology year after year by making towers that meet local and national ANSI, EIA, TIA 222 safety standards. Every tower is made with 100% USA steel and hot-dipped galvanized to ensure our towers are of the highest quality materials that will last. And every tower goes through a 36-point inspection before being deemed ready for field deployment. We have the capacity to service any mobile tower in the industry to ensure that the safest, strongest, and most reliable tower is always in use. Solaris has worked with the leading carriers in the industry, like Verizon, T-Mobile, AT&T, and government agencies such as the U.S. Navy. Contact a sales representative today at Trip Wireless. Visit us at www.tripwireless.com or call us at 720-361-4990.
So I'm going to stop I'm going to stop this, and I want to introduce you to Evelyn Torres, CEO of Solaris Technologies.
Well, thank you, Brad. Thank you, and good morning to everyone. And I'm so excited to be able to discuss my passion, which is mobile towers. And today I thought we would just kind of have a conversation around, why are towers important? How can they help your network expand and, provide additional revenue streams? And we'll take any field questions that you might have regarding these towers or high capacity towers. So I own all the patents as well as for this technology. We started this company about 10 years ago here in Dallas. I'm a former executive from Nokia, worked there for about 15 years in Latin America. So I'm very familiar with, the geography and the challenges we have in developing countries. I've had the privilege to work with many different countries over the years and live actually in most of those countries. I'm excited to be able to talk about towers. As anyone that knows me, that's extremely my passion. I started this company as a sole owner, and today I am still the sole owner with multiple patents around the technology. I believe in making the most safest tower available in the industry. We sell towers around the world. We customize towers. We build specific towers for the government, as well as other entities, verticals such as like Dow Chemical and Lockheed Martin, different kind of military installations and things like that. So we are very excited to work with new partners, learning new requirements out in the field. So if you guys are challenged in an area that you might have a specific requirement, say, well, I need a 40-foot tower, or I need a 20-foot tower, or I need something specific, we can actually build those. We have engineers that build all kinds of customized towers, as well as our normal inventory from 60 to 150 foot units. And the reason why we call these high capacity towers, because in the industry today, there's not towers that can support multiple carriers or multiple technologies. So we like to tell everybody that we're technology agnostic. So whether you're using LTE, whether you're using 5G, 4G, whether you want to add security to it, lighting to it, our towers are agnostic to all the technology, and we want to make it most robust as possible. So they support, all of them support 1,100 pounds on the mast, and have a lot of things that come included with the tower. So a lot of times we found out in the industry that everything is separate. Well, with a Solaris tower, you get everything that you need to deploy. You'll get the guide wires, you'll get the distribution plates, you'll get the turnbuckles, you'll get the clamps, you'll get safety locks, a lot of things that you need to deploy a tower safely in the industry. So that's another advantage of working us. We have a 24-hour support line that's also available to clients. And Brad, at the end of this presentation, is going to give you an opportunity for some freebies. One things we like to do as customers. I was a customer for many years, and I love to get things for free. So he's going to offer a little special thing for everyone that participated in this chat today. So stay tuned for that. I want to just kind of say, we talked briefly, Brad introduced why is a tower important. We talked about, emergency response. As hurricane season's getting ready to start again, we want to make sure that our carriers and integrators are ready for that. So a lot of these deployments that we do are emergency response. So hurricanes in Florida, Port Aransas, Texas, we have lots of, we've done to Puerto Rico, we've done to a lot of the Caribbean, South America. When the earthquakes happened in Ecuador, we were there immediately with 10 units to help the government reestablish communications. We've worked with all all major carriers and to try to make sure that disasters are a priority when that happens. One other thing that sets us apart from anybody else is that we usually have inventory on hand. In this business, as inventory is very, very expensive, and most of the carriers need something right away. They don't have 6 to 8 weeks to wait. With Solaris, usually typically we'll have units in stock on every different size that you need. So if you do run into an emergency, get a hold of Brad and he can help you get a unit pretty quickly. Sometimes we even have rental units that are used that we sell at a discount, so he can help you with that as well. So emergency response is important. The other thing is network expansion. We look at the people that are non-traditional people, like maybe the energy sector. We've seen a lot of this energy sector getting into the mobile business, creating private networks or a disaster. We've had a huge disasters here in the United States the last 4 or 5 weeks with these big snow blowouts in Texas and other parts of the country. And so they've needed towers because of the communications have been down. So we've been able to, respond to the network outage and then also expand their network. So after the disaster happens, they realize that, hey, we can have more towers up and prevent some kind of, load sharing and things like that, so they can help the network. And then also a lot of maintenance on towers. A lot of the permanent towers need maintenance. And so it's good to have a portable tower co-located near maybe a water tower that needs to be painted, or changing out the technology, or just a tower being down. So that's another opportunity for mobile tower placements as well. And these towers actually are rapidly deployed. We can erect a tower in about an hour. To actually elevate the tower, it only takes 27 minutes. However, to level out the ground and things like that may take a little additional time, but so they're very, very quickly deployed wherever you need them. We offer also accessories. So like, let's say you have unleveled ground or some kinds of challenging, you have a cement pad where you can't anchor these towers into the ground. We have cement blocks that we have, and we have lots of solutions that we can help you deploy these towers where needed. So I would highly suggest that if you have a challenge, let Brad know. He will be happy to work with you. And again, we are the manufacturer behind him, supporting him, whatever he needs and his clients need. So we'll be very excited to help work with all of you guys. I don't really have anything else. I kind of wanted to talk about the main areas. I touched on roughly this revenue sharing. We have a lot of clients like ISPs, internet service providers, that have, they're trying to make money on towers. So they've tried to say, Evelyn, how can I make some money on this tower? I have a small business and it's hard for me to make additional revenue. And so we've worked side by side them in areas like event planning. So using those towers to plan, for large gathering and event planning so that they can rent them out. We also rent towers only for the US, but it's an hour, you could do it locally, so you guys are in the Caribbean. If you wanted to use these towers as a rental opportunity, you can definitely use these in that capacity. You can put multiple carriers, like I said, on there. Some people put security, lighting controls, and things like that for concerts or large deployment state fairs or things like that. So if you have a use case that you'd like us to look at, we would be happy to look at it and see how we can help you guys on the revenue side of these things as well. So that's all I have really as far as why towers are important. We went over basically how quickly they are. Safety is a big concern of ours. So everything comes with safety locks, lots of safety there. All the standards are compliant. We exceed a lot of things. The patented technologies about the cabling system that has specific cabling that's unique to our business. We designed it ourselves to be supporting. So if the cables got snapped, there's 3 cables on each section. So a lot of things that we've taken into consideration to make it the safest tower in the industry at this point. So we're very excited. We love towers. So if you've got any questions, we'd like to take those now.
Absolutely. Thank you, Evelyn. There's one thing we can touch on that is unique with our services here, and that is fully outfitted mobile towers. A lot of mobile tower companies will provide what I call a naked tower. Basically, then they'll send it to the carrier or their general contractors, whoever happens to be facilitating their network, and they'll have them outfitted. We have a very unique situation. We can actually have them outfitted at the factory. And so if you have equipment configurations and you can provide those to us, we can install all that equipment and have it installed at the factory. So when it's delivered to you, it's ready to deploy. And that's a very unique feature that we're able to do. We can do it right at the factory in Dallas, and it saves you a lot of time on your end. So we're very happy to do that. We'll add the generators, the radios, whatever communications cabinets, microwave dishes, et cetera. Whatever you need, we can have those installed and activated for you. So that's just another option that we have with our partnership with Solaris.
That's awesome. Thanks guys for sharing that information so far. I encourage our participants to send your questions in the chat, and we will transfer those to our speakers today. I have a few questions already though. The first one is, do you have any customers currently in the Caribbean?
Yes, we do. We have Caribbean, we have Puerto Rico, we have, and also a lot of Central America, but we do have the Caribbean. We have quite a few towers out there.
Okay, and your tower is called the Tough Tower?
Yes.
Yeah. So how does it stand up in the face of hurricanes? The recent hurricane seasons we've had have been quite difficult.
Okay, that's a good question. I like that. All our towers are rated to withstand an F3 tornado. So that's 110 miles an hour guided. So that's unique to us. We're the only one in the industry that does that currently. And so each unit is provided with guy wires and anchors, and those are to support the actual wind requirements.
Okay, that's good news. Yeah, we've had some up to category 5 hurricanes in recent seasons. I think it's similar speeds. You said 110 miles per hour, so we check it in kilometers, so that might be closer to 150 kilometers an hour. All right, very good. How long will it take? Because you did mention that after disaster or so forth, we can get sometimes mobile tower deployed. For us based in the Caribbean, how long will it take to get that tower deployed after a natural disaster? Well,
we've done it from when we arrive to the site. We have to, put the outriggers out. That takes a little time to make sure everything is level. But from the erect position, it takes 27 minutes to go 100 feet, 33 meters in 27 minutes. So it's very quick. So that's some of the patented technology, the way the cabling system works and the way the towers are telescopic. And so each section are moving at the same increments all the way up. So it's very rapidly deployed. And we're the only one that has this type of technology in the United States.
Okay. So that's part of your emergency response capabilities there. You also mentioned they had a lot of inventory on hand, so a variety of products will be available quickly from you guys through Trip Wireless, presume?
Yeah, from 60 feet to 150 are typical standard products that we have in-house on stock. And then if you're looking at any customized projects, those are like from 4 to 6 weeks, depending on what you need. Like Brad mentioned, we can put them with generators. We can outfit them with your own equipment on it. Those take a little bit longer just because typically to get the equipment to us, it might take a couple of weeks. But as far as the unit itself being done, we can do quite a bit of customization within a month, 4 weeks.
Okay. And what sort of training would you guys provide? What training is available to operators when they receive these towers?
Well, Brad, maybe this is a good time.
Well, that's a great question, Jimmy. we provide on-site operator training for all of our customers, and we'll do up to 10 of your users at one time. So right now we're doing a promo. So if we have any orders within the next 30 days, is that right, Evelyn?
Yeah, from CANTO.
What we're doing is providing that free on-site operator training. That's a pretty big benefit right now, because typically that's what, $1,200-$1,500.
Yeah.
We're providing. That's our promo for today. So we'll come to you and provide you on-site operator training.
And also that includes a certification. Each of the engineers or your technicians, you don't have to have only your site people there. I would highly encourage during those training sessions that you bring your integrators or any other partners that you might have that are in charge of the deployment of that tower. So we will train 10 people. You choose the folks there. Each person will get a certification with their name on it, a certificate of completion. It's for the US, it's OSHA requirement, but I don't know what the requirements are there locally, but in all regards, it's very good to have. And it's a way for the operator to also have a safety protocol in place. A lot of times we've seen over the 10 years is that a lot of times you have a tower and the initial folks that have gotten training are not the same people that are deploying the unit. And sometimes that can cause delays in deployment. It can cause lots of improper use. So we've tried to minimize that and say, okay, listen, let's have everybody that could be potentially using this unit to get trained here on site. So we go out to there. It's a 3-hour training. It goes over all the operations of the unit, all of the maintenance. So there are maintenance involved in training in the towers. We teach you how to grease the unit, how to maintain the cabling system, and look for kind of sea signs that are things that need to be maintained, like corrosion. If it's in a sea area where there's lots of salt water, we teach you how to maintain that so you don't have corrosion and rust. And so it's a very good opportunity. And with attending this conference, I think it's important to say we have never, ever in 10 years giving out any free training. So this is something that we want to say thank you for inviting us. And we believe that this is very beneficial to your group.
Great, thank you. At CANTO, we're happy to make that available to our members, and they're listening in today. And those who are listening to recording as well, take note of this special offer. I was just thinking about the same situation with the natural disasters where you can bring in a rental. And I have a comment from Mr. Sidney DeWeaver. He says, as it relates to your mobile towers, they would be the perfect option in the event of a natural disaster. In reference to that, are they storable in a shipping container for safeguarding?
Yes, they are. Not the 150. Let me just restate that. The 150 is not in a container. Because the trailer itself is 25 feet, but all the other units are 18-foot trailer, the actual trailer part, and it does fit into a container. So on the 150s, we do not put those in a container.
All right. So how would they be stored otherwise?
We recommend them just to be in a garage. A lot of the sites have a garage, or we can, like we have carriers that leave them outside the whole year. They don't have any coverings or anything, but you can make a cover for them. Each of the motors comes with a plastic cover over them so that no water gets in the units or anything like that. So they're all protected, and they are rated to be outside all the time. However, to get the most out of the use, I would highly recommend them to be put in a garage or some kind of warehousing them when they're not in use.
Okay, interesting. So you had mentioned in your training that local operators will be trained, they would handle the maintenance also. Do you have any tips for the maintenance processes or procedures?
Yeah, with every deployment, we give you a manual that has like a 36-point maintenance. And actually, these are very, very light maintenance. They're common sense things, but a lot of times we like to put them in writing so that there's no room for error, such as greasing the wheels. Imagine a squeaky wheel, you don't want that up and down. It causes friction, it latency on your deployment. So we make sure that those all the rollers are greased once a year. I like to have the gear, make sure the gear has oil in it, because sometimes moving these up and down, heat and all these kinds of things. So we make sure the gear has oil in it. We make sure there's just like 36 different areas that we inspect all the cables for fraying. A lot of times you'll have a bird nest into a tower, or maybe a group left some equipment, some bolts onto the tower, and when they put it back down, they recommissioning the tower, they notice that it actually pinched a wire. We want to know that. We're looking for safety concerns of anything of necessary. So there's 36 points that we ask each one to inspect. However, it's very, very quick. I mean, we do a whole maintenance for a unit in several hours in our shop. So it's nothing that's laborious. It's just something that needs to be a checklist, you know, it's just like everything else. But we do provide that for you. And then also we sell on-site maintenance. One of the programs we have with our carriers, all the carriers actually have this program, is, you know, they have a lot of units, of course, and they're all deployed all over the United States here in America. And we just have a contract with them that we'll visit those sites once a year. And so just to make sure everything is doing well and whatever they need, we give them a list of action items. We can do them ourselves or we can show them how to do it. So we would do something similar to that, depending on how many units they have, and that could be quoted separately by Brad.
Okay, excellent, excellent. Considering the environment that we have here in the Caribbean, how would these towers in the island environments handle the sea salt blast that they would be exposed to?
Well, we have a lot in Mexico, Cancun, Mexico. We have in Canada where they have an extreme 3 feet of ice on them. So they're designed and hot dip galvanized to prevent corrosion, but everything needs to be maintained. So, you know, after they've been employed on the beach, we rinse them off. We look for any kind of possible corrosion points. We cold galvanize those points so that they don't rust. A lot of times you'll have like what we call a surface rust. It's like a powder that comes on these units after they've been employed for a while. And we've got some that's been 10 years in the same spot. There's like a permanent tower. So those we ask that, you know, we make sure we rinse them off. We powder coat any areas that might be more salt on them than needed. But that's all possible. I mean, that's a normal, and we're in Texas, so we're used to a lot of salt water here. So that's kind of a normal challenge that we're all going to have. We just make sure that we maintain it, and your unit will last a lot longer if you just do these recommendations that we give. And it is specifically for areas where they have high snow and high salt content.
Okay, so what's the average life expectancy of a tower?
Tell me, I don't know. I really don't know. We've had our units out for 10 years, lots of units that are permanent towers that are still permanent. There's no industry standard, but there's no reason why they can't last more than 10 years. Like I said, we have deployments that are 10 years in as a permanent tower. And so I think that if you use the maintenance, it's like a car. How long does a car last? Well, my car's, I drive a car. If I'm going to do it 200,000 miles, well, it's going to last 200,000 miles, still going. Someone's bought it, from me, but I don't know how long it's going to go. So I can't really say. I can say that these are built tough, and we wouldn't be able to say that unless they have been proven to be very tough.
Okay.
Like I said, we've been in business a little over 10 years, and we have units that were deployed when we first started deploying towers, and they're still out there. Okay. And they have lots of challenging sites. A lot of them have, like I said, we have lots in Canada and Ecuador, lots in Cancun and Mexico, where they have very extreme conditions of high winds, high sand, high water, high everything, and they're still going strong. So these are robust towers. Everything also is grade 8. One of the things too that sets us apart is all our bolts, every bolt on the unit. I don't care what bolt it is. I'm talking every single bolt on that unit is grade 8, which is extremely expensive and extremely durable. It's the highest grade steel you can get. It's not galvanized steel bolts. Nothing is made with any kind of thing like that. Everything is the very top of the line, grade 8. And that's made specifically for these kinds of harsh environments. And the military, we've got some that are on the Navy ships. They get a lot of water, a lot of stuff. And so we've got 2 that are right now that we've been testing with the Navy for about 4 years on a carrier, and we're taking notes and doing research on how that's working out. But we have a lot of
salt blast environments that you connect to.
Yeah, and we're always looking and doing research and development. We spend a very large portion of our funds on building the best. So we are looking at ways to make things better always. So.
Thank you. Brad, did you want to add something?
Well, the towers, it was in the video, I know we talked about it, but all the towers from Solaris and Trip have a 10-year warranty on corrosion. So they all come with a 10-year corrosion warranty, all of them. And what we're finding is and this is becoming kind of an interesting deal here. We're finding a lot of need for, I mentioned this earlier, that the mobile towers are becoming permanent towers, basically, because you can deploy a mobile tower in a small community, for example, almost 3 times less than the cost of a site-built tower. It's a very economical option, and they can become permanent. So we can bring them in, and you can leave the chassis and the wheels on if you want to, or you can take them off and you can sink them in concrete, and they're permanent. But it's a much more cost-effective way as opposed to building a site-built tower.
Oh, yeah, and it's a fraction of the cost. I mean, in the US, we have sites that cost around $300,000 for a 100-foot tower. I don't know in the Caribbean today. I used to know exactly how much it costs because I did a lot of tower construction in Dominican Republic and other places with our carriers. But it's a fraction of the cost, and it's no site permitting requirements and all the easement requirements on a temporary site. So that's something. And another thing is that once you don't have, if you build a permanent tower later on, you can redeploy this one and get really a use case out of it, because you can put the wheels back on it and send it somewhere else in the network. So one of the things that's reusable, a lot of times, and that's really helps the bottom line in a carrier or operator, because that's where they're trying to stretch out their revenue and the assets. So over time.
Yeah, let me switch the conversation a little bit. There's a question here from Carlos Bosch on, with the growth that is expected in 5G and Internet of Things, do you guys have a forecast of tower deployments in the region?
Mm-hmm. Well, we work closely with carriers here. We have a contract with all the carriers in the United States. And we're part of the 5G initiative. One of the things that we've built specifically for T-Mobile is a 5G antenna. I know the video went really quick, but on each deployment, you get a 3-arm antenna that's included in the price of the unit. T-Mobile has asked us to create a 5G antenna, and we actually worked on it together with them. We own all the rights to it, but we actually had them help us design it to make sure that it was going to be able to support all the radios that they were requiring. And we put about 12 radios on there now. Sometimes a little bit more, but on average around 12 radios. So it's a monstrous of a antenna. And that is actually maybe there's an opportunity for, I don't know if Brad, if you have that antenna on your website or not, but we can share it with Brad, and Brad can give it to you guys if you're interested. It's a very impressive antenna mount, and that can be done on the site. You'll need a crane because it's very heavy, but it's been designed specifically for 5G deployments. And if you ask them how many sites we have, well, we're going to be doing, we have projected, there's over 200,000 sites that are going to be done in the United States. Of that, a portion of those are going to be in mobile towers, just because they can't get the sites quick enough. And so we have there's not a number that I can give you today that says Solaris is going to be doing 1,000 sites a year, but we think it's something in that range, something like that.
Okay. Thanks very much. Back to our previous question, just to get some clarity, the question was related to how long will it take to deploy a tower. It was, I guess it was more meaning from your side to our sites. How long will it take after disaster if one is needed?
Well, is it going to, does it have to get on a boat? I mean, a lot of things are logistics. Not the unit itself can be deployed in 27 minutes, but let's say that's why we encourage everyone to prepare for disasters and get their units in advance so that you'll have them all tripped out and ready to go. But so logistics is one thing that we are not in control over. I can get from Dallas, or Houston Harbor actually is where it comes from. We'll put it in Houston or Miami, but usually from Houston, I can get it to any Caribbean place in a week. From Miami, there's going ships every day going to the Caribbean. So it just a matters of getting a ship to get, to transport it to the Caribbean. Usually in a week, you can get it. If you can get a reservation in a week, you can get that there. It's just a logistics that's out of our control. But we have several partners we work with to make sure that we can get the units as quickly as possible. We use UPS Global and we use some local carriers. And we can also work with your exporters. So if you guys are working with an exporter out of Miami, we can work with them as well. So, but as far as actual timing, I would say a week, depending on if we, if we're putting the equipment on ourselves, that might take some time. But I mean, actually the logistics part of it's out of our hands, but I would say a week.
Okay, that sounds reasonable. This question is coming back to the resilience of the towers. So this person is asking Hurricane Dorian, if you remember, was it a couple years ago? It hit the Bahamas in about with category 5 winds, which is over 185 miles per hour, and stayed over Grand Bahama for 48 hours. What are your plans to build even more resilient towers? You did mention 110 miles an hour with guidelines.
Yeah, what we would recommend if it's exceeding 110 miles an hour is to put the tower down, and then redeploy it after the hurricanes pass. That's the best way to save the asset. Also, you don't want to be a projectile either, to hurt somebody. Our desire is to make the most robust tower. We have not made a category 5 tower. There's some limitations beyond the tower. It's not the tower is the limitation, it's the cabling systems that are resistant to that equation. So the tower itself, it can withstand much more. But the limiting factor is not the tower, it's the cabling system. And so we don't manufacture cables, right? We have a manufacturer that makes the cables, and there's just not cables today made stronger than 110 miles an hour. Imagine that each one of our cables today that we use on our tower can stop an F-16 carrier on a Navy ship. That is the same cable that we use today on our towers, which is a 14,000 pound cabling system per cable. There's 3 of them on each section. On a 100-foot, on a 30-meter tower, that would be 3 times 6, 18 cables supporting 14,000 pounds. That is a lot of strength, more than anybody in the industry. There's nothing more strong today built. That's my limitation. It's not the tower limitation, it's the cabling limitation. So I'm sorry, I can't give you the specific. I wish I could say I'll build something next year better. It's not the tower, it's the cabling.
Interesting. Could you expand on how easy it is to collapse the tower in the event of a hurricane?
Very easily. Basically, it's a very simple step. Basically, you take up the anchors, you take up the outriggers and put them back into there's a very simple, slide in system. It takes about 25 minutes to take it apart. It's not complex at all. It takes, you deploy the tower, you roll up the wiring, and you get out of there. It's very, very quick. There's not, and actually we can talk about that during the training sessions, but it's exactly the reverse of the deployment. So if it takes 27 minutes to deploy it, it takes about the same amount of time to take it down.
Okay. Yes.
And the biggest thing is on that one is if it's deployed with all the equipment. So you need to have somebody taking off the equipment. That equipment taken off might take some time, but I'm just saying for the unit itself to collapse and to be deployed, decommissioned, excuse me, it's very, very quick, about the same amount of time it takes to deploy. But again, you have to take into consideration your equipment, any kind of, that kind of thing. And if it's anchored to the ground, to take the anchors out.
Okay. I have a question. I know you mentioned some sizes earlier. If you can repeat, what are the sizes available?
So we start at 60 feet for our standard fleet. Now we can do customized, what you need, but if you need something outside of this line, but we have our first tower size is 60 feet. Okay, then we go to an 85 foot. Then we go to a 106. Then we go to a 120. Then we go to a 150. And I apologize, those are all in feet. I should have prepared that into meters. I know the 106 is 33 meters.
106 is, yeah. So we can divide averagely by almost by 3.
Yeah.
Get a quick answer.
So those are the standard size that come out of the factory every week. So if, like I said, if you need something specific that is not in those types. Oh, another good point about on those sizes is this. This is very unique to the Solaris manufacturing process. All the towers can be deployed at various increments without going each section by section. The competition goes in 20 feet increments. And with our Solaris towers, you can put it at, if you bought 106 foot, you can go 100 foot, you can go 87 feet, you can go 82 feet, whatever size you need. We put a laser on it, or you can put a tape measure on it, and just to go at any size that you need. That's very unique, because sometimes you might have a site planning guy come out and inspect your site, and you had it deployed at 106, and he says, that's not going to pass. You need to go down to 100 foot for some reason. In the old days, or with another competition, you would have to take all your equipment back off and start all over again. This is not. You would just push the button, go down to 100 foot and stop.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very, very efficient in time and resources. And like I said, we're the only one that does it.
That's amazing. I have a question. I'm not sure how to phrase it, but it says I guess it's asking if you only use telescopic structures.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is telescopic in the sense that they all go up at the same increment. So let's say you want to deploy 40 feet, and you bought a 106 foot tower, which has 6 sections. Each one is going to go the same amount of distance, each section. So all 6 sections would go up until you got 40 feet equally.
Okay.
So it's telescopic, but it's not 20 foot, 20 foot, 20 foot increments. It's all moving at the same time, all sections, whether you have 6 sections, 12 sections, and a 150, how many sections you have, they all moving at the same distance equally amongst all sections.
And that's where you get the added flexibility for your height.
And that's where you get the durability. That's one of the patented technology pieces, is that you have more strength in that capacity, because as you have more base, if you want to call it. All the sections are together, and you have more base going up. And as you know, as just engineering, is that you have the stronger your base is, the more tolerant your unit is.
Okay, excellent. Is there a power requirement for the trailers or towers?
Yes, there is. Everything is on a 110 volt, 30 amp breaker. So generating power or shore power, whichever you prefer. If you have a substation there that we're going to power in, it's just a three-prong NEMA plug. That is it's an L6 type of plug. It's a standard universal worldwide standard L6. And that plug is 110 volt.
Okay.
60 hertz motors.
Thank you. Jumping back to our previous discussion with the adjustments, this last question came in. What locks the sections in place once the tower is extended to the desired height?
That's a good question. The locking mechanism is a 3 cabling system. I can't really go into that too much, because that is definitely a patent design. However, it's very unique, and it's the only one in the industry like that. Additionally, besides the three cabling systems per section, we have safety locks that go in the section between 1 and 2 that are actually physically on the unit when you're going to have a deployment that's going to be over 3 months. So let's say I'm going to have a unit out there in the field for a year or 6 months or whatever. I'm going to put a safety lock on there. And so that it comes with the unit, and that safety lock mechanism, we just deployed a brand new video. I think Brad will have it on his site. Actually, it was launched on Friday. I've actually had to install these safety locks, but it's impressive video how we're doing for specifically this type of conversation, for disasters, for high wind installs, for long-term deployments. And we're seeing more of this now, especially with 5G. They are not, these towers, they're not getting site permits enough to build out the network quick enough. So they are it's mandatory to have some type of mobile or portable towers to deploy the 5G in the time frame that the carriers want to do it. So we have assisted them and been involved in all those conversations to make sure that we can be of assistance to them. So that's a very good question. And again, we are very safety conscious. And so when we're looking at deployments and how we can make this the best unit in the industry, which we've been awarded that title as the most technically advanced unit in the industry. We've gotten numerous awards from NEMA, from the National Tower Erectors, from Titans, Tech Titans, and just about the tower construction. There's nothing out there like that. And we're not bragging, guys. If it's true, it's not bragging. It's just the facts. I spent my whole life developing towers, my whole career. And I'm very, very passionate about learning more and being the very best. So I hope that I can give those to you guys.
All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're dealing with the facts, no problem.
It's not bragging if it's the facts.
Yeah. Okay, I know that this question is from Sidney DeWeaver again. He's asking, I know the towers are mobile and deployable, but can they be used as permanent towers, and would the method in order to make them tower permanent if that is possible?
Brad, I think you shared about that. If you wanted to say that again.
Absolutely. The answer is absolutely yes. We're finding a trend. We're finding applications more and more like that. But yes, absolutely. They can be brought in on site as a mobile, and they can be turned into a permanent tower very easily. There's several sites in Mexico, I know, Evelyn and I talked about, where they're bringing them in, they're taking the chassis off, and they're sinking those chassis into concrete. They're permanent. And it makes a very good alternative to a what I call a site built tower. It's about a third of the cost of a site built tower, and you bring them in, you erect them up, and they can stay there forever if they need to be.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, that sounds good. A third of the cost sounds like a reasonable alternative, and I guess you're able to collapse it or move it a little better if you need to in a hurry.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Let's see. Keeping an eye on the clock. We have a few minutes left.
Okay.
You're still getting a lot of questions to the topic.
Good. We love questions.
Yeah. All right. So this questions have come back to the shipping. I know you said you could ship from Texas, but if required, could you ship from Miami also?
Yes.
Yeah. And could the Caribbean carriers rent a mobile tower for the hurricane season annually?
Not through Solaris. There's really strict rules about out of the unit leaving the U.S. If Trip wanted to work a program where they assume the risk, that we would be interested in understanding that. But Solaris would not be able to rent towers. We do rent a lot of towers in the United States. But once they leave the borders, our insurance does no longer cover them. So we would not be able to do it.
Okay, so that's an insurance issue.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks a lot. Coming back to the power question, some countries in the Caribbean use 220 volts, 50 hertz, that's Guyana, and 10 volts, 50 hertz, Jamaica. Can you provide specialized motors for these markets if required?
If required. If required. It's a little design issue. It's not saying that it's impossible, because we have made a 210 volt before. The motors actually support 110 and 210. That's not the issue. It's the electrical system with the tower. The tower itself, there's an electrical box that has some toggle switches that move the tower up and down. We find that it doesn't last as long. There's some kind of difference in the voltage that causes the tower not to have efficiency. And we haven't overcome that problem yet. We're in testing right now. Like I said, we did one about 4 years ago that we're still looking to make it better. But we're open to the idea, actually. We're open to understanding that requirement. So I can't say no, but I say I'm limited in the design. There's something specific to the electronic components in the electrical box that moves the tower that has been our challenge.
Okay, understood.
It's not just a circuitry. It's something more than that. It's something
extra.
Yeah.
What about making use of local suppliers and local material to manufacture the topics locally? For example, use of aluminum and steel from local suppliers.
No.
No, you handle everything in-house. Well, something to think about in the future as
Yeah. I think I'm a little control freak, that's just something about the quality and not that anyone can do it better than me, but I don't know.
Okay. But I can't guarantee how many people will contact you after this.
I'm always open to everything, guys, but I think that the answer has been up to date. No.
Okay. So I think I've exhausted our questions. We've touched on some of them already. We have a few minutes left. I can give you guys an opportunity to give some closing remarks for our audience, summarizing everything we spoke about today and also going into the future, what we can expect.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you very much, Jimmy. So first of all, thank you all for this opportunity. This is a delightful opportunity to present not only Trip Wireless, but also our preferred partner, Solaris, as well. So again, a Trip, we can provide just about any type of network equipment, data equipment that you would require for your networks. We can source equipment. We sell equipment all over the world, and not a problem at all. So anytime you're looking for anything, if it's something that's either brand new or something that's discontinued, please give us a call. We can help you out. Number one, and number two, the towers are remarkable. It can be permanent. They can be temporary. They're adjustable. If you have a tower that's fully up and you need to work on it, I mean, there's another option. You can actually lower it to work on it. You don't always have to bring in a crane to do that. So there's all kinds of flexibilities with these towers. And again, like I said, they're about a third of the cost of a site-built tower. And we have a lot more options on these things. So a very, very robust, 1,100 pounds on the mast. Is that right, Evelyn?
That's correct.
Yeah, that's pretty robust. So that's the mast weight. You can put a lot of equipment on top of the mast. So again, if you're in the need of products and associated services with those products and anything regarding mobile towers or tower site build alternatives, we can help you. Just give us a call. We'd be glad to work with you.
Absolutely.
Evelyn?
It's been a pleasure, guys. Thank you for the opportunity to talk about what I'm most passionate about. And I'm always open for new ideas too. So if any of your guests have some specifics that they want to reach out, please reach out to Brad. He'll reach out to me. We're very close, connected. The other thing I wanted to mention is that we're the only tower manufacturer that is climb rateable. That's a big deal. Actually, it's rated for a 300-pound person or persons up to 300 pounds to climb it with the equipment. So 1,100 pounds plus 300 pounds of climbing apparatus can be attached. So that is pretty robust, guys.
Okay, excellent. Well, thanks very much to our guests today. Thanks to our participants for sending in your questions and for making this an engaging session. As we wrap up, I'll remind you that CANTO Conversations will continue in this season. Possibly our next session will be in early April. We have topics, we have some CEOs lined up, as well as we'll be dealing again with the topic of 5G, which remains a hot topic in our region and around the world. So thanks again to everyone. Remember that we continue to work from anywhere. CANTO is available to you also. So remember to stay safe and stay connected with CANTO Conversations.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.